come away with something. Fantastic spectacle. Some incredible goals in the second half. Job done for City.
Well, it's been the most extraordinary match. City in front early through Bernardo Silva. 2 deflected Real Madrid goals made it 2-1. 2 sumptuous goals, one by Phil Foden, the other by Guardiola, his first for the club, made it 3-2. But an equally sumptuous goal by Valverde made it 3-3. There's a little undercurrent that's certainly been brewing throughout this contest, that City will go to the Etihad Stadium in 8 days' time knowing that any kind of victory at their own ground will send them through to the semi-finals. Real Madrid have never won at the Etihad Stadium. Let's keep it that way. Final score, 3-3. Well, let's go back to the studio where we can join Izzy, Jill, and of course Shaun Goater and Natalie.
Thank you so much to Alistair Mann and to Andy Morrison for the excellent commentary, as always. So it is 3-3 at half-time in this fascinating rivalry that we now have with Real Madrid. You can see the players having a chat on the pitch at the end of the game now. Still joined in the studio by Izzy, by Shaun and by Jill. Izzy, how do you assess that second-half performance in the game overall?
Wow, it was breathtaking, wasn't it? Some absolutely wonderful goals from Manchester City, and, you know, I think a point is okay. You know, a draw is okay to take back to the Etihad. You back City at Etihad in front of their own fans. But, you know, from a neutral, what a game. 3-3 in Champions League. These two giants coming head-to-head. Very entertaining.
It was such an entertaining game. If anyone that's watching this that was lucky enough to be a neutral must have just been absolutely glued to the seats, because it has been end-to-end. It's been a battle. There's been crunching tackles. There's been stunning goals. I mean, short of City coming away with the victory, Shaun, it's been an incredible 90 minutes of football.
Yes, it has. It's really lived up to what, I suppose, what neutrals would have wanted this sort of game. City, for large periods, kept possession, dominated, and some beautiful goals. It really was. City be pleased with the draw. I think initially Pep would have said, yes, we'll take a draw, but if we're in position to be winning it, can we keep it? So it'd have a tinge of the fact of not keeping, being ahead. But at the same time, we know what we're capable of at the Etihad, so coming away with a draw is a brilliant result for City.
Yeah, Jill, the players, you can see them, I mean, you see there, Ruben Diaz is double fist pumping. They're happy with this result, it looks like.
I mean, I think City is happier than Real with the draw. I mean, City knows they're going to play at home. They're very confident there in front of their own fans. So, yeah, the City is definitely happier than Real, I would say.
Given that we went 3-2 up, is there any disappointment from you that we couldn't hold on to the victory?
Yeah, of course, but at the same time, yeah, the game was quite open, I would say. City dominated, but Real got very dangerous in transition, so I think 3-3 is like, I think they're fine with it.
Sorry, their management of the game in terms of like when they got a little bit of momentum, they were easily going over for fouls. Their crowd, you know, make noises. They earn them fouls. You know, this is a team that understands what it takes to how to get through a game, how to win a game, and you know, this is something that, as fans, when they're at the Etihad and we're in that situation and we have momentum, we need to take advantage of that as fans and make sure like we help get those calls and we can manage the game so you end up winning the game, whether it's by 1 goal, 2 goals, or 3 goals. But the fans played a part. The fans played a part to get them fouls. They're going over. You're looking and thinking, he hasn't touched him, but he's going over, bought a bit of time, keeps the momentum. And that's an experience Real Madrid. But City, for me, our team, you know, we go there now, we go with confidence in terms of we've seen how, you know, the stats are showing 60% possession going to Real Madrid. You know, they're the kings of this trophy, essentially. And we can go there and have the confidence and show and display that way. So, yeah, really good performance.
And I love how much City have run more than Real Madrid, how the passes are better pass completion rate as well. I mean, they have worked seriously hard out there tonight, haven't they, Izzy?
Yeah, that was the stat I was drawn to. I think it's always interesting in a Champions League match how the intensity differs. And you can just see there, to run 5 kilometres more than Real Madrid says a lot about the way that Man City played. And, you know, I think the likes of Rodri and Kovacic certainly were tested in the midfield. They're not used to operating on the transition as much.
Wow, look at that.
This is incredible. Like, look at Bernardo, nearly 12k in a game. Like, he goes everywhere, doesn't he? Foden, Diaz as well, you know, one of the centre-backs, Rodri high, really high stats, you know, and it just goes to show that City can adapt. And they've got the players are fit enough to be able to cope with the intensity of the Bernabeu and the game and the occasion. So they'll have so much confidence going into the game next week at the Etihad.
I love the Bernardo Silva's top there. Like, but there's anyone that works harder than Bernardo Silva. We had some wow goals from both teams in this game. In terms of the second half, obviously started 2-1 and then City equalised it with another stunning goal from Phil Foden. Jill, from your professional point of view, just tell us how good was that finish by Phil Foden?
Perfect. The technique. Also, like, I think his first touch is very important, and his first touch was perfect, which made him hit the ball so good. Like,
he just continues to wow us, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does. I mean, when he gets in that position, City fans that watch him, you know, week in, week out, we're thinking, can he shift it onto his left? He's got the space. He's aware he's got the space. As Jill says, his touch is brilliant. He gets it out his feet, and he's purposely going for that top corner. I mean, you're just thinking, it's just awesome. It's such a clean strike. It's in the top corner, and you're thinking that's exactly what we need. And that's the form he's been in. He's been gets around that goal. He gets those half chance. That's not a half chance. He gets those chances that makes them seem so simple.
I love the fact that it was another goal from outside the box as well for City. It was stunning goal after stunning goal. And then Phil Foden did it beautifully. And then Josko Gvardiol said, no, hold my drink. I can do this too. I didn't know he had that in his locker.
I don't know whether he did. I'm sure he bangs him in training, but in that situation in a game, like, I mean, what was funny about it is his first touch wasn't great. So he shifted the ball and he just thought it was actually quite nice the way the ball sat for him. It had a little bounce on it. And it's one of those where you make them like that in training so that you practice hitting the ball on the half volley or with a little bit of a bounce. And it just fell to him. And he just, you know, what a finish. Took an unlikely source. Foden, yeah, exactly. He was like, Foden, I'm going to do better than you. But still think Foden was better.
What I think what helped him is Toni Kroos went towards him, or to go towards the ball, but he didn't go aggressive enough.
No,
and
definitely.
He just sort of was a yard short of going to put the block in. And he's probably thinking, this isn't his right foot. I'm okay if he shoots. And what he needed to do was actually go in and put a challenge in. Yeah. And he allows him to shoot. And that's the worst thing he could have done, because the strike was awesome. It really was. Sweet contact.
Absolute stunning goals by Phil Foden, by Josko Gvardiol, by Bernardo Silva. Incredible. We're going to go back over now to pitch out at the Bernabeu with FG and Shaun Wright-Phillips.
OK, full time from the Bernabeu. Manchester City 3, Real Madrid 3. What a game, and what a result to take back to the Etihad.
Like I said, it was score draw, didn't I? I called it before. I think they're more scared of us than people realise. I thought we had a lot of the game under control, pretty much most of it. Felt like a lot of their situations came from our mistakes and sometimes our lapsy-daisy passes. But other than that, I don't think they bothered us too much, considering they're at home.
So what a start for us. A Bernardo Silva free kick. You don't say that very often. And he tricked the keeper.
Yeah, well, the keeper tried to read it. I think the keeper's gone way too early to try and intercept a cross that effectively was never coming. And Bernardo, as clever and as cute as he is, he went for that near post and the keeper couldn't get back in time.
And then it was a few moments of madness. 2 goals conceded. We came into the second half, and the recovery, the equaliser. What a goal from Phil Foden.
When Phil Foden does Phil Foden things, you just got to accept it and embrace it. I thought he played well, especially at times when he was in the ball, and then in the second half he seemed to be coming inside and trying to get those shots off, and he tried again that second time and it flew straight in the top corner. What a beauty it was.
We need to talk firstly about mystic Shaun Wright-Phillips here, because during the warm-up he said Josko Gvardiol strikes the ball better than anyone else. And he did that on his right foot, his first goal for City.
Well,
what a goal.
Let me just correct you a little bit. I didn't say better than anybody else.
You said better than any defender, though, right?
I just said he's got one of the cleanest strikes I've seen for a long, long time. And he does. Every time you watch him shoot left or right foot, he always makes a sweet connection. But a lot of the time he gets blocked. This one, he actually kind of whipped it round the defender. It was a fantastic finish from him.
It was a great goal indeed, and also the fans in the top corner have been absolutely amazing. It was a hostile environment, but what a result.
we did what we're meant to do, quieten these fans down at a time. We kept them as quiet as possible, and it was still quite loud in there, but when we did do what we needed to do, they tamed a little bit. Well, listen, 3-3 here at the Bernabeu, going into the Etihad. Looking forward to that game? Very much so, especially once everybody's back fitting up and running. I don't think they can live with us. And now, if you thought the atmosphere was good at the Bernabeu tonight, wait until you come to the Etihad next week. We'll see you there.
I thought he was going to say the atmosphere in the studio was better. I was going to go, yeah, we were having a right party in here, FG, when those goals went in. Thank you so much to FG and to Shaun Wright-Phillips. I loved your little trip to Madrid. Well, none of us will ever forget the flamenco dancing. So thank you to FG and to Shaun Wright-Phillips. So it's finished 3-3 this evening in the Champions League. Of course, the second leg of the game will take place next Wednesday back here at the Etihad Stadium. Of course, MatchDay Live will be here with you as we always are. I cannot wait for that game already. But between now and then, we have to turn our attention back to the Premier League as the games continue to come thick and fast. So we play again on Saturday. It is a rare 3 p.m. Saturday kickoff at home at the Etihad Stadium, and we take on Luton Town. Love a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. We haven't had one of them in ages, it feels like. But, of course, Luton Town currently sitting in the bottom 3, but they had a good win against Bournemouth at the weekend, and they ran Arsenal close last week as well. What sort of game do you think we can expect from a team still fighting for their survival, Shaun? Well,
we'll expect them to do exactly that, to fight with their life, because they still feel there's some points that they can get. From City's point of view, I think City will look at this to have it be a controlled game, and not be controlled game, but to win the game convincingly, as in whether it's 2-0 or 3-1, but winning convincingly, and not give them this space where they think we could get a draw out of this, or they can get a draw out of this. I think City needs to just put it to bed and let them know if you're looking for any points, perhaps you need to get it somewhere else.
Yeah, Jill, this feels like one of those games where it's like Shaun says, yeah, we just got to go, we've just got to do our job, we've just got to stay focused, because playing against teams who are fighting for their survival, I mean, they even though they're in the bottom 3, they're going to try and put up a good fight against us. Absolutely, especially if you have so many games, it can be difficult sometimes, but I think if they start well, start aggressive, hopefully score goals early, it should be a controlled game. I'd like to be controlled, put it to bed so that we can all breathe as we get ready for next week. But they had a really good win against Bournemouth, and they did run Arsenal close last week, so we certainly can't be taking anything for granted in this game.
Definitely not, and it's so close now. You can't afford to take your foot off the gas at any point. And just looking at the fixtures just before on screen, the run-in, I do think City have got the more favourable fixtures. Everyone knows the Premier League is tough, it's difficult, anything can happen, but I think if on paper I looked at those 3 sets of run-ins and I'm like, I think City have got the best group on paper. Yeah, a few games ago I wouldn't have agreed, because when we had United and Arsenal and Aston Villa, they're done now.
But they're done now, yes. Yeah. So you look at that and there's a bit of breathing space, and of course Liverpool dropped points at the weekend, Shaun. That they were the first ones to blink, as I like to put it. Yes, and the thing is, we're such a good team. Whether we're leading, we know how to do the job, but whether we're chasing, we also know and understand. And if I'm any team that's above City, you do not want to be chased by City, because teams know just how capable City are, that you can go the remainder of the season winning games and winning games convincingly. So they know there's no room for error, no room to slip up. And what I love about Pep is, it's like, whether we're in first, whether we're in second or third, it's about focusing on us. It's about our game. Let's deal with our game. Let's win our game. And let everybody else talk about all the other stuff. We just deal with our game and we move forward from there. We had a close game against Luton in the reverse fixture. Of course you would remember. You were on the minibus. Yes. I've just remembered that we sent you and some of your former 99 teammates on a minibus to Luton. It was a great day. I mean, we were sat right behind the bench, so we could almost hear some of the tactics behind Pep. But it was a wonderful day. But that game was somewhat challenging because their ground is really tight. Luton's ground is really tight. But again, the tactics that City played, balls going into Haaland, being set back, and then it was down the sides, and the tactics were brilliant because, again, Luton, in their ground, you have a chance. If they get the ball anywhere in the final third, they can put balls in the box. Things can happen because it's a really congested ground.
But at the Etihad, you can't sort of get those sort of situations. You've got to earn the right to get in the final third. You just can't knock a ball in the half and then say, oh, we've got to throw in. You've got to really build. So I think City will be dominant out of possession as well as in possession, and will make it really tough for Luton.
I don't want to ask the coach because I know what the coach will say, but Jill, from a player's perspective, as a fan, we've got to take Luton seriously. We can't take it for granted. But I already have an eye on next Wednesday because, you know, it's the Champions League. It's so close. And as a player, how do you keep yourself focused for the next game and not get carried away thinking about next week?
I mean, I think that's different for every individual. Like, I don't know, you just have to tell yourself you go game by game. I mean, obviously, you look forward to the Champions League, but at the same time, they're fighting for the league as well, which is also very important and exciting. So I think, yeah, you just have to focus on the weekend.
We did see some nice snippets in the documentary. We were talking about it before, and you do hear them every time. This game, one game, and I get that. As a fan, I just find it so difficult not to think ahead, Izzy.
Yeah, and I think from a player's perspective, like, I think it becomes unnatural when you block yourself out from looking at things. I think you've got to let things in, and you've got to, you know, people always say, like, oh, do you keep an eye on other results? And of course you do. It's normal. It's natural. I think as soon as you start doing things which aren't natural, like not looking at scores, not looking at social media, then you're just denying yourself what you want to know. So it's how you take it and how you take that information. And I think that, I mean, I played at City, Jill's there now, you're obviously a legend. Like, I know what happens within the club, and I know how tight it is, and I know how the winning mentality is, like, infectious and contagious. And, like, yeah, OK, the Champions League tie at the Etihad next Wednesday is teed right up, but they ain't going to win the league if they don't beat Luton. That's a fact at this stage. So it's like you have to channel your thoughts, and it's tough, but it's what makes this part of the season so exciting.
When you put it like that, it's...
Yeah, Izzy's absolutely spot on. And players will look at the fixtures and say, yeah, we've got Real Madrid, we've got Luton first, we've got Real Madrid. But the reality is they know they've got to do the job. And the only time they start looking at the Real Madrid is when the game is probably, as a coaching staff, it's probably when the game is in the 75th minute and you're like 3 goals up, and then you think, I could rest this player could come out and rest. That's when you start to think about resting players and a little bit about the next game. But the worst thing you could do is bypass who you're currently playing and think, oh, we got Luton, yeah, but we got Real Madrid. And I can tell you, go there against Luton and it'll be very, very tough.
Yeah, you're so right, and I love the ways he puts that. You know, you don't beat Luton, you don't win the league. It's that tight, it's that close. With that in mind, and next Wednesday in mind, the team selection for Saturday. It's now 66 games unbeaten for Rodri. 66 games unbeaten, but is he looking a bit tired, Shaun? Would you rest him?
I wouldn't say it's tired. I think playing Real Madrid, so he's not playing against, you know, a team struggling. It's playing against other world-class players. And again, his standards have been so high. We all notice when Rodri gives the ball away 2-3 times in a game, and we all go like, hey, what's happening with Rodri? His standards are so high. I mean, we still saw it's like 90, I think it was 93% passing accuracy. Like, that's still ridiculous. So in terms of resting, I think his best way of coming through that is being in the next game and Rodri being Rodri, performing. And I would say his rest will come when the game is won and we're 70, 75 minutes and you go, come here, have a sit down, Rodri, well done, you've done your job. I think that's when you rest, because you can't look past Luton, as we say.
I feel like I'll ask you, Jill, but I know what you're going to say. Would you want to be rested or would you want to keep playing?
No, I would want to keep playing, and I think he would want to keep up the rhythm. And yeah, as a player, you want to play.
You just want to play. Where we're thinking, give him a little rest, give him a little rest. But yes, no.
70 minutes in, we'll give him a rest.
Yeah, hopefully.
Get the game won.
Yes.
Get the game won, his performance back to itself, and then you go, no, we're back, he's back to himself and we're good.
Yes, I cannot wait for Saturday already. It's going to be a cracking day on Saturday. So it's a 3 p.m. Saturday kick-off, taking on Luton Town. Of course, MatchDay Live here with you. Kelly's joined by David James and by Brian Horton. Oh, I love both of those. That'll be such a brilliant show. Also, are you up for a challenge? What do you think? Because in partnership with Xylem, City have launched the Water Champions Fan Challenge, highlighting how small everyday actions can contribute to tackling the world's water challenges. one of the easiest ways to play your part is by taking a shorter shower, as showering can use up to 12 litres of water per minute. Wow. The shower time challenge is happening. So if you're coming to the game on Saturday, it's happening at the Etihad, and it just might make you think a little bit more different about how long you spend in the shower. So Jolien and Kel will be at East Reception. East Reception, that's right by the Legend Suite, so it's by the statues, from 12:30 on Saturday. You can take on the shower timer challenge. So there's a QR code on your screen right now that you can have a look at, or visit alltoplayfor.com to find out a little bit more about that. So thank you so much for being here with us today. Izzy, it's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, Shaun. Thank you. Always lovely.
Pleasure.
Jill, your first time. Were we nice? Did you enjoy it? Was it okay?
It was okay. Nice people.
Oh, thank you.
Come back again, please. And
I will.
best of luck in your recovery.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Send our love, everything to your team.
Yeah.
4 games to go. We will be watching with bated breath, with all support behind you. Best of luck. Best of luck.
Yes.
Thank you to Alistair Mann, thank you to Andy Morrison as well for the commentary, and thank you all for joining us on Matchday Live. So we are at the halfway point of this quarter-final. It is on a knife edge. We like it that way, don't we? 3-3, City bring Real Madrid back to the Bernabeu, knowing we beat them at the Etihad. We are through to another semi-final. See you on Saturday, Blues.
If we win the treble, yeah? What are you going to do with that? Surely you've got to go Netflix.
There is one treble. Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup.
Together, guys. Do it together.
This documentary is going to be the best ever.
Now we're talking.
She doesn't know her dad's chap Grealish.
This is what the people have to realize, that today I'm the king.
You're right, Gunda. You need to wrestle.
Just another day at the office.
Absolutely brilliant from City.
We fought the last match, Premier League. Are we going to do it again?
I mean, are they unstoppable this season?
It's tough, the Premier League. It's unforgiving. You have to work and fight for every single point you get.
It's so easy to look far ahead. And that's the one thing that can get you killed.
Are City title contenders once again? The questions were starting to be raised.
Manchester City's lead has been obliterated.
We want to win this Premier League. We have to play like this.
You think it's normal what today we have done? For the guys who travel to follow us to perform in this way? Wow.
They're in a proper title race here.
If we focus on ourselves, we can beat them all. And we want to do it again. And that's when we get big.
I think we can go all the way.
I want to my Warriors.
If you come for the king, you best not miss.
The biggest prize in club football is still the Champions League.
That was a little bit special.
He's got to turn Man City into a team that conquers Europe. That has to happen.
We're all going to Istanbul!
One more next week.
You know tomorrow we play for the immortality.
Will it be a treble or a seismic shock?
It's once in a lifetime, guys. This situation, we are not going to leave it again.